Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Nova. It's a pleasure to be here with you. So, on this opportunity, I'm gonna talk to you about my thoughts of some questions that I have here below. I'm gonna read it and answer all of them. I'm really interested to answer my questions, and hope that you enjoy it and like it same as me. And I consider as a tip that you really have to practice and work hard with languages because it's the most effective way to increase ourselves, to growth, and to communicate with different cultures and people around the world. So let's see, hope that you enjoy it. My teacher's name is Mr. Freddy Lora. Let's see. Okay, everyone, so as I said, I'm going to read some questions in order that I have, and then I will respond. The first one says, what languages have you studied, and how well can you read, write, and speak each of them? Well, I study modern languages, as you can see. I see French, English, also Italy and Germany. But I focus more on English, that I'm really good at it in all skills: reading, writing, listening, and and talking. And orally. But that is one of those languages that I studied before, and I still practice because it's a process. Every day you can learn different things, different ways to say something, new words. It's like a native language, like Dominican Republic. We have to understand some words that probably students or on our street, around us in the neighborhood and so on, we used to speak, and we have to be working and studying on it. Have you ever had a friendship with someone who spoke a different language? Yes, I have. What languages did you use to communicate, and how did it affect your relationship? I had a friend that, I even don't talk too much with her. And also I practice with some of my partners from school, from university, from my work, that they have to speak English. So I think that that's the language that I use to speak or to communicate with somebody who is not native in Dominican Republic. But I'm interested in learning all languages, at least French, Creole, Germany, Italy, even though much because I don't like Italy, but I want it because it's useful. It's useful, and also I can use to even translate products or translate things that I have near my house that I don't know how can I use, or to manage something, and that help to reach my knowledges, my vocabulary, my grammar, and in all aspects I used to. Which language do you think is the most difficult to learn, and why? Well, I can see that Russian is the most difficult language to learn for me, because here in Dominican Republic, example, we can't see people who speaks that language well, and to know that, or to still practice, you have to maybe around travel, or maybe with that effort that you say, oh, I really need to practice because here in my country have to speak Russian on that. It's the same as when we go to the United States and we don't know about that language, you feel that it's obligatory to study. And that happens to me when, with Russian. Nobody can speak it fluently, or so, no, because you don't feel like that is like essential, that is like yes, I have to do it because my work or what where I am around, we have to speak it. No. Do you think, no, sorry, how do people who come from different regions of your country speak differently? Yes. Example, in Dominican, well, here in Dominican Republic, you know that we started with people from the north side, the south side. They speak different, totally different. And I really don't know what happens on that. I think that is because the countryside that you see around there around the city speaks that way, and that's why we used to speak different. I mean, the accent is different. Example, in Santo Domingo, they used to speak with a L. Example, let's see. I even have a word with it. But in Santiago, we speak with the letter I. Ay, mi hijo. Es que no hay sai, no hay sai. Para decir sal correctly, you know, people used to sing another way, and that happens. Even we have the same Spanish, but we like change in our accents. Do you think it's ever possible to speak a language like a native? Explain your reasons. Yes, it is. Yes, I do. It's easy and it's possible to speak it because in my case, I used to watch videos, I used to read books, I used to listen audio, sing songs that help me to moderate my tongue and speak like a native. And so if you really wanted to talk, if you really wanted to learn, if you really wanted to change or solve that problem that maybe we have because we don't speak as well as natives, it's possible to do it. What kinds of judgments do you make about people based on their accents or dialects? And what does accent or dialect tell you about someone's education, background, or income? Happens that when you see somebody that studied in university, so on, and someone who lives and grows in the streets, you can see the difference in dialects and in the accents. Example, in Dominican Republic, when we work in an office or in a school or in a formal work, you change completely your mind and your way to express yourself around the people that you see next to you, between, one example of that is when if I, in the street, in Spanish, I would say, hola, saludos, ¿qué tal, cómo se encuentra usted? That's a formal way, that's my formal way. But if I am with my friends and my partners, oh, hey, what's up? ¿Qué lo que? Dame luz. It's different as well. But I don't judge them because we grow in different ways. I can judge somebody who haven't studied before, that haven't or get the opportunity to study in a good school or a good university. So I don't judge them. What do you find most difficult to learn in English? There are grammars that are really, really, really difficult to also learn and also to teach. Because I had an experience that what happens here, that most of the time we don't use those grammars in our native language, and it's difficult like to translate and say, oh, and when can we use that way? we grow with that system, that we speak it. Okay, I speak whatever thing, but it's because I grow with that. I grew up with that. But example, as a language, you have to say, well, example, I es yo en español. Entonces, for me, it was harder to work with that. Are some languages more beautiful to listen than others? If so, which? And are there any languages that you really don't like the sound of, and why? I like all sounds even in English, in French, Russian, Germany. I feel comfortable to hear someone who speaks next to me in a language that I really don't know. Also, Creole is beautiful to listen. For me, it's perfect. But there are something more beautiful than others. It depends of the person and how they are saying is working on it. But in my case, I like the people who speaks French. Even I don't like French, but I like the people who speaks French because it's beautiful, like in love. That it says that it's the language of love, and it's perfect to hear somebody. Even it's hard because you have to work with your tongue, with your throat, making those vowel sounds, vibration, you see. But for me, all of them are great. I like it. Why do you want to improve your English? For example, work, travel, pleasure. I really want to increase my knowledge in languages is because I know that in the future we will work or communicate to people or make probably aliens. I don't know, maybe with Japanese. That you see that nowadays we are working with Japanese. We're employee of Japanese, and it's useful to speak their language. Example, if I am working a call center, my boss is an American, so I have to increase myself speaking English because but I can say that in all situations it's amazing. It's essential, really essential to speak a language. How is your personality different when you speak another language? For example, are you more or less outgoing? I can say that I'm more outgoing. Even I have problems, or I feel like nervous if to make a mistake that happens. But for me, is I want to say that. Okay. Yes, I want to say that we're humans and we can make mistakes. Also, if you change yourself, oh, I said this bad, let me change that. I feel like comfortable, and that's a pleasure, to say something correctly or have it in mind. Oh, I say this bad, but I can put it correctly. And, I can cover my mistakes. Sorry for the noise of those motorcycles, but that happens all the time. In what major ways in English grammar different from the grammar of your native language? In what major ways is English grammar different from the grammar of your native languages? When example, we used to work to talk about third person, he, she, and it, and in Spanish, we change completely because in the third person of Spanish, we don't add an S or ES or IES. But when we use to add an S is when we talk about you. An example, yo como, tú comes. Él come, ella come. In English, I eat, you eat without S, he or she eats. That's the difference. And there are many ways you see that it's different. Also, when you use the present perfect or work with the past participle of a verb, it's different. And what did you begin studying a second language? Do you think age affects a person's ability to learn a new language? I studied English since 2008, I think so. I have like 10 years studying English in an institute. And I finished when I was 16 years old. And most of the time it affects. Even if you are like working, like you work and study, you focus just at working. People most of the time don't have that mind to focus to learn something. I think that the age affects person's ability. The last, what's the best way to learn a language? For me, it helped to practice with a friend. Also to listen music, read books, watch movies with the subtitles. Even I can hear them in Spanish, but I use the subtitles to know what they're saying. And that's it. What did you think? Do you think you learn more English inside or outside the classroom? And what do you do on your own to improve your English? I think that inside of the classroom I can learn it because I have the people can I practice and work with that. But if I am saying outside, it's probably in a country that they used to speak the language that is like obligatory to do it. And what do you do on your own? I said that I used to listen music. I also teach, so I help my students to speak, and I speak, and we have to speak harder in English. I make essays. I watch movies or series in that language. If I don't understand a word, I write down in a notebook, and I use it in examples. I use it on my real life, to have it always on mind. Do you like to listen to music in other languages? Yes, I do. And do you make an effort to understand the words? Yes, I do. And most of the time it's harder when you see the rappers or listen to some rappers and you know that the English is like informal, that they cut down some words, they use a lot of contractions, and it's hard for me to practice. But what I used to do is to search them, and maybe if I see the first part, I will understand the second part. How often do you read in another language? And what kind of things do you read and why? I like everything in English. I have some books that are in Spanish, and I search them in English. Example, La Cenicienta, the Cinderella. I listen and watch that. I read that book in that language just because I want to improve it. Thank you.